Hello everyone, welcome to the Officers Adda 24/7, the special session of your CIB exam June 2023. As we know that your GIB exam is just completed now. Now all the candidates are focusing on the CIB exam, which is going to start from 10th of June. So here we are the English medium mentor, Niharika ma'am, Vishal sir, here are we with you. And we are just now going to discuss these 5 points that ignore these 5 points won't let you to succeed in the CIB June exam 2023. So Niharika ma'am, Vishal sir, welcome to the Officer Adda. So sir, exam is very near. So what is, what the students are feeling, regarding this exam? Vishal sir?
See, the point which I have seen over here is JIB was not as tough as it was. It was the first time we have seen the new portion exam, and even students are right now confused about whether there will be 1 mark questions or whether there will be 2 marks, 1 mark, half mark like JIB. So the best way, what I would think is forget all these things: 2 marks, 1 marks, everything. The best thing is you must study the portion. That's the only thing. Let it come for 2 marks or 1 mark or half mark. That is point number 1. Second point which the students are confused about is how to give the time and what all to focus on. What is to be focused basically. So we'll discuss that only in today's lecture. Immediately I want to open all the suspense, isn't
Exactly,
it?
exactly. Yes, Niharika ma'am, what do you want to say?
I would just say one thing, don't be scared of this examination because I have seen a good amount of fear among the candidates right now. The bankers are like, will we be able to give the examination? We are not having holiday. There are so many things which are somehow being the reason that they are withdrawing themselves just before the examination and being dicey about the fact, shall we give the exam this time or not? So we'll be guiding you what to do at this point of time to make sure that you are not drifting away from your goal.
And also one more point which I like to add is,
yes, sir.
The students, after seeing the book of 700 pages each subject into 5, into 5, that is the main reason why students get afraid about this. But I'll tell you, don't worry about that because at Adda 24/7, whatever we teach you, that is from the books firstly, and all the important points are gathered by the teachers itself. So you need not worry. And we'll discuss the points now. Yeah, ma'am.
Exactly. So CIB student, do not forget to share and like the session, and whatever we will discuss in this session, please follow these points. Then you will absolutely clear your CIB exam in a single and a first attempt. So let's start with the session. Before starting this session, the flash sale is going on. The lowest price with double validity in the JIB ka Mahapack, JIB CIB ka Mahapack and CIB ka Mahapack. You only have to apply the coupon code that is PREP78, okay? Then you can easily get the discount up to 78%, okay? So now let's start with the session. As you know that class, in your CIB, there are 4 compulsory subjects, that is BFM, ABM, that is ABFM, BRBL subject and CIB elective subject, in which 5 elective subjects are there. And if we see that this subject is your old one, this subject is also old one, and this subject is also old one. Myself, Nikita Singh, I'm your legal mentor, okay? For the BRBL subject, I will just want to give you a very little advice that for BRBL subject, first of all, 95% is similar, just like your LRB subject of JIB, November 2022. So what you have to focus, first of all, whatever you people have just, learned in the paid batch, revision is must required. 90% student not get success. Why? Because they do not revise. We know that you people have a very hectic schedule, but still, only few days are left, and in these days you have to revise your paid batch. Whatever the PDF that we have given in your paid batch, you have to revise from that PDF, and no need to refer any book, not even your IIBF book, because this PDF is the conclusion and the nutshell of your IIBF book. Then whatever the question that the teacher are giving in between the classes, you have to solve all the questions. Next, the mock paper that we have given in each batch, at least for one subject, we have given the 5 mock paper. At least do that mock paper. And the last one is believe in yourself. Believe that this is your last and the first attempt. We know that you have a 5 attempt and 3 year, but still, what you have to think that, no, I have to crack this exam in this session only. And then only you will crack your exam. Right, Niharika ma'am? Then we will discuss each point one by one. So yes, Niharika ma'am.
Okay, the very first thing that we need to think about is see, the point is if you're going to the war and you don't know what kind of weapons you should carry and how you should carry them and how to use them, how will you win the war? You cannot go without anything out there now. So first of all, you need to understand what's the blueprint of the examination. If you look at the blueprint of the examination, it would be more or less like 7 to 8 questions would be the case study area, right? So when we talk about this, not only in the area of ABFM, I'm in the ABFM area. So one is mine area, then Vishal sir in your area, BFM as well as ABM. I think the case studies are definitely very challenging, right? Because there are so many case studies which are related to numericals as well, which is another level fear for the CIB candidates. So that means these areas are to be kept in a mind, in a very clear thought process that in any case, when we are looking forward to the examination, we cannot ignore the case studies. So, Mike.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is the point I wanted to come in. The point is, remember all the students, the case studies are roughly 7 to 8 case studies you get generally. Out of them, 4 to 5, at least in ABM, BFM, I'll discuss because I know those subjects ins and outs since many years. So roughly you'll be getting 4 to 5 case studies on numericals. Remember, 4 to 5 on numericals, 3 to 4 on normal theory part, and remaining questions will be one-liners. So this is the pattern which I feel it should go on. Okay. And there can't be a CIB exam without case studies, to be frank. So follow the case studies and to clear the exams. See, our topic today is what not to do. But what not to do means what you have to know what is to be done because that will give you the final results, right? So you have to focus on case studies and what not to do, you have to ignore the case studies. That won't help you at all in exam. So don't ignore the case studies. Follow the case studies given in the these paid classes as such. So in fact, we have dealt with all the case studies given whatever are required for clearing the CIB, all the subjects actually. So follow that, follow the test papers which are given to you. Test papers will give you the last minute revision, whatever is required for CIB, okay? Follow those test papers. Yeah, ma'am, Niharika ma'am, you can continue.
Thank you, sir. When we talk about the case study area, na, it is really very important that we are sorted about it because, na, as sir said, case study carries around 35 to 40 marks. So we have to be very clear about what we need to do in terms of this area because clarity is required. One of the basic problems is that people get scared. Itni lambi case study, it's very, very long. How should I focus upon it? And the weirdest mistake that I've people seen making is you're just focusing on the case study. You're still not looking at the concept. While practicing, even you're just focusing that maybe the same question can come up. Yeah. This particular thing has to be removed from your mind that maybe this same question will come up. Maybe the same MCQ will come up. These things will happen. I won't say that this thing will not happen, but the point is you have to still focus upon the clearing of concept. One concept clarity can help you to complete at least 1 to 2 case studies. Then why not focus on that particular concept or rather than relying on just one case study? If it will come, it's a win situation. If there is no case study related to that particular thing, it's a lose situation. Why do you want to put yourself into such a leap of faith situation there?
And right? one more point, yeah, ma'am. One more point which I would like to add is, I've seen through my overall since 8-10 years experience in CIB, the students who are able to focus on case studies or clear case studies have fair chance of getting cleared in CIB. The ones who don't focus on case studies, they'll definitely be in a fix. That is the point always. So you should always focus on case studies. You should never ignore. And in the paper also, while solving the paper, whenever you go to the paper, students, first always try to cover the case studies first. Always, always, always. Try to cover the case studies first. Why I'll tell you. What happens normally is we lose our time in 1 mark and half mark and these questions. And for the major questions of 5 marks, we don't get time at the end. And in the end, what do we do then? We mark A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, come back. So don't do that. Focus on the major chunk of the marks. That is in case studies. First, try to complete all those 7-8 case studies in the paper. And then you get time for these one-liners afterwards. So you must always focus on these case study parts. So what is the takeaway from this slide? First thing at today's session, first takeaway is focus on case studies and not to ignore the case studies. That is the first takeaway. Okay. Yeah, ma'am.
Right, sir. Nikita ma'am there?
No, she is not there. I think so. Yeah.
So what I'll do is let me share the PPT so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
would be helpful for us. So
Yeah.
everyone, I hope this is visible to you now.
Yeah, it is visible. Yeah, it's visible to me also. Yeah.
So this was the point that we did carry
Yeah.
a case study based, and now we're talking about the next point. So this is all about the one-liners, true, false. This is one of the areas I think people are not focusing on this part. What do you think about this area?
Yeah. Sure. The remaining 60 marks, what we are discussing, 40 marks were for case study roughly. So remaining 60 marks will cover these parts. One-liners, true or false, match the following, any type of questions. It can be a single one-liner question also. What do you mean by CRAR? Simple. It can be that in BFM. Or what is the CET one? I'm just talking of BFM, guys. It can be same thing in ABFM, various even I've seen ABFM also having these questions.
Yes, sir.
While I was preparing the paper, I saw that ABFM has majority of the portion of BFM. I got so much worried about that actually. To be frank, worried. Okay. So one-liners, true or false, fill in the blanks, match the following. These will be the part of your questions, number one. And there will be simple one-liner questions also. But always I would suggest focus on first the case studies, then go for these one-liners as such. And these will be like the single run marks here. Any player who scores the century, he hits sixes and fours. But that person always focuses on one single run also. So that these are the parts like single run. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when we
ma'am.
talk about the one-liners, true, false, and everybody, again, the same point I would again repeat, that is, do not focus on the MCQs that you will be doing here. Focus on the concept that you are learning from that particular point, because you never know that the concept that you learned is used somewhere else in some other case study or some
Yeah.
bigger questions. So it's way better when you're looking forward to this area. Now, just be very clear and fill in the blanks is, I think, the first time they're introducing there, right? So then you have to be very clear about understanding the concept, because this part cannot be cleared with just being that particular point. I'll say that just going through the MCQ ki same aa jaye, that would be done. That won't really happen there, right? And there can also be questions related to reasoning and assertion based. Terminologies can be based. For example, if I talk about ABFM, there can be one-liner questions can be based upon a terminology like mezzanine financing. It's just about one particular terminology there. There can be related to the characteristics of debentures, odd man out situations where they're giving you four different definitions of debentures, and they'll say which one is true. So you have to be very careful about understanding the concept.
Correct. Yeah.
The language can be difficult because financial area is never a piece of cake. It's like just very simply written. It is always written in a very different terminology. Till the time you are not clear about terminologies, it is very hard to crack.
And one more point I would like to add in this, on one-liners, students always see to it that you don't fall into the trap of getting everything solved immediately. Otherwise, what happens? Suppose if we can't answer one question, what do? We spend a lot of time in that one-liners. Don't do that. Leave that for some time, skip that, move on to the next. Somewhere or the other, in the remaining questions itself, you'll get a hint about that question which you have left. This happens generally. So don't waste your time if you can't solve any one-liner on that one-liner. Leave it for some time, move on to the next. We'll see it later. Okay. Otherwise, what happens? The majority of the time is left, as I told you earlier. Majority of the time is gone in these solving these single marks. Yeah, and then we don't get time for the case studies or the main questions. Or see, here, one more point I've seen in the first part of the paper. Generally, in last many years, I've seen first part of the paper there are tough questions. First part. What happens because of that? The students goes on solving these first part of the papers and the time is wasted. And the last part, there are very easy questions. Means roughly from 60 to 100, roughly. So what happens? Student wastes his time in first 60 questions and he doesn't get the time for those easy questions, whereas they carry the same marks. So that's why you have to focus on not for one point is solve all the questions. There's no negative marking. So not to worry about that. Solve all the questions and solve them, not just tick mark them. That is the point. Tick marking is a separate part and solving them is separate part. Okay. Yeah, ma'am. Niharika, ma'am.
There's one thing that I can say here for this particular thing now, it's always better in the beginning, go through the entire paper. It might seem that ki nahi, this is wastage of time. Why should we really look forward towards the entire paper first and then start? But trust me on that note, if you know which particular portion is easier, which particular portion is difficult, which one will take more time, then you'll be very clear about how to pursue. It might take 10 minutes, 15 minutes more, but this 10, 15 minutes is going to get you more score even, because there is no pressure that you have to do all the 100 out of 100 questions. You have there's no negative marking. That means at the end, if you don't have time, you can always go for guesswork. So be very clear about doing the questions which you are completely sure about in the beginning itself. Once you have done it more than the particular passing marks, then you can play with the guesswork.
And more importantly, I'll tell you about these one-liners. Whenever you watch the videos of the paid class, okay, all of them, in the paid class, many of these points are discussed by the teachers themselves. Means we go in the flow of discussing what the points are, and that flow you should always follow it till the end and see it in the total. It should be actually okay. Yeah, ma'am.
Right.
No time. Yeah, no time for self study. Correct one.
Now, this is one of the another points which we ignore. One of the particular things that people had been ignoring is self-study. They're like, array, we are all already attending the classes now. Is there a need to self-study? Why is there a need? We are going through the classes. I've gone through the basic, even regarding numericals, everyone. There are so many bankers I've seen. They just look at the numerical, we got it. Now there's no need to practice. We'll do it directly in the examination. Think about it. Did we study maths at that when we were kids at like this?
Yeah.
Our mothers used to make us sit and used to make sure that we are doing the addition subtraction so many times that today we are sitting and using calcs and doing it with a bit. The problem is when you are not putting your own time. It's not about the time that we are delivering. We are providing everything from the IIBF book. But remember, this is not our journey. This is your journey from a student to a qualified person, right? So when you are looking forward to this particular area, one particular thing that has been missing from your side is self-study. Now, the self-study portion is even while going through the classes, are you keeping a particular notebook? Are you noting down? That is very important, because practically, is it possible if you have two exams together back to back? Are you prepared enough that you don't have to look at the paper just before the examination? Personally, today, even if I have to go for any specific important thing now, which I have done even after 10, 15 times, even then I just have a view. This is what I'm going to teach today. We already do this. Everybody does that. Because brush up is extremely important, because every time you brush up now, that particular things becomes more clear in your mind.
Correct. And
so you cannot go with it.
Yeah, I would like to add one more point in this. See, here, you join any school, any college, any class, anything. Without self-study means without yourself assimilating that knowledge, you can't go ahead. Because here, what teachers in any school, college, class, anywhere, they'll guide you. Now, how to do the self-study? Now, that is the point. I'll again come back to this point. Because students will say, I've joined the class, why to do the self-study? Okay, you have to do it. How to do it? There's an answer to this. See here, what you do is you follow the classes again. Recorded videos are available. Go through the recorded videos again and again as many times. Because in those recorded videos, you'll get all these numericals, case studies, they'll be there. But you'll get enough knowledge or enough assimilation or enough concept clearing in that. Okay. So go through the videos as much as possible. If possible, go through the tests. Okay, tests which are given to you, because the test will clarify some points which you might be missing out somewhere, or there might be a gap in the thinking level. So that will clarify this point. Go through all the tests as much as possible. Whether you are wrong over here, that's okay. Let it be wrong. But when you are wrong 5 times, because there are roughly 5 tests, when you are wrong 5 times, in the 6th time you will be correct in the final exam, isn't it? That's our aim. Yeah, so self-study is important. Go through the videos, tests. That is another takeaway from here. Yeah, ma'am.
So let's proceed further and move on towards the 4th point to be taken care. Being an early bird. People normally ignore this part, but I've seen so many bankers, they will start preparing once a few of their peer groups have started preparing already. Then the peer pressure hits, everybody else is preparing, now I should start preparing. The point is, do you really know that you have limited time already? Matlab, at least keep 10 hours to 12 hours a day, which goes into the bank itself, right?
Right.
At least
Yeah.
8 to 9 hours is fixed in terms of your office work, and it can go extend up to 10 hours even, and keep an hour before and an hour after, which is definitely unproductive at times, because sometimes you are traveling, sometimes you are getting ready. Now when you come back, you have to change, you have to freshen up. That means roughly 10 to 14 hours a day is eradicated with the snap of a finger, and you cannot do anything about it. The point is, just before the examination, can you say that I'll take an off just 5 days before the examination and I'll clear it? Somehow, considering the fact that the each and every module carries around 700 to 800 pages, I think 600 to 700
Yeah.
is I've
Yeah.
seen. So can you really finish off one particular 600 pages module book in one day? Let's be very practical now. Your working is more towards, you can sit down and work for 14, 15 hours a day, but your study time will not be the same or with the same intensity. So it's way better that you start as early as possible, so that by the time exam approaches, you don't have the peer pressure ki I have to study this, I have to study
Yeah.
that. That particular thing can be eradicated.
And what happens is, as talking of the peer pressure, once the exam approaches, when the dates are near, then what happens? The mind thinks, our mind says that, uh, forget this, leave it, it won't
True.
come, it won't come. So whatever, see here, if you have started studying earlier and prepared some notes, some important points, so what happens at the end of the time, means last end slog overs. So in those slog overs, what you can do is you can focus on those main negative points which you have not been able to cope up. So you can focus on those points if you start early. If you don't start early, if you start batting in the 45th over itself, then it's of no use. Nowadays, no 45th over. Nowadays, we have only 20 overs matches. So if you start batting in the last 18th over, then you don't get time at all. Okay. So that's why be an early bird. Start reading, at least going through the classes and the notes, whatever are there, through the PDFs which are shared to you. See here, the PDF shared in all the classes, paid batches should be definitely followed till in the toto. Okay, because that is the only solution to this. Okay, otherwise what happens, reading the books of 700, 800, 900 pages is a difficult task for banker who comes after the job and has a
True.
family time and then gives 700 pages. Not possible at all. So go through the PDFs which have been shared, go through the classes, tests, and then there are almost 90% probability that you'll clear it. Definitely. Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so let's move on and talk about the last point. That is focusing on only on passing points. One particular thing that people had been ignoring is that in the examination you need to keep a margin, right? If you're not, if you know about the loan areas, you always keep a margin money. Why not margin in the examination?
Correct.
The
Yeah.
point is, if I say that, Pata hai, I am done with at least 50 marks, I know I'll be scoring 50. How do I know that the preparation, the portion that I've prepared will definitely be there for 50 marks? How do I know I'll still remember the
That is the point.
word to word in the examination?
Good point.
Nobody
Yeah.
knows about that. So you have to stop procrastinating about the particular thing that array I'll do it later on. I'll do this, but abhi nahi. This won't come in the examination again, sir. Your point, because now we don't have the time. So anything that looks difficult, anything that is really confusing, we'll just leave that part and pray to God that this will not come in the examination. But the point is, the examiner will know that, acha, I would like to put it. Then how will you cope up? And there's one particular thing I would like to say. I have seen it in the JIB area as well, that there were people who scored, say, 34 in one particular one. In the next every subject, they are scoring 68, 64, 69. Now, what's the fun of having this particular examination being there just because you were not being an active person and just focusing on passing marks in that subject? Even if you're scared of a particular subject, till the time you don't sit down and study, how will you take that fear out of yourself?
Correct.
Because this will cost you around 6 months.
Yeah. Sure.
Just because we were scared.
The point over here is which man is trying to focus and everyone should follow. If you think of reaching the stars, you'll reach the clouds. It's as simple. Okay. If you think of scoring 80, 100, then you'll score 50.
50. True.
There might be luck here. You might be lucky as well. That if you think of scoring 80, you'll score 80 also. There is a luck possibility. But majority of the time it happens that when you think of scoring 80, 90, 100 and you prepare for that level, then you score around 50 to 60. Okay, so that's why don't focus only on passing, focus on knowing the concept. Complete. And CIB is one thing I'll tell you, CIB is not about learning. CIB is about understanding the topics. Because you can't learn 700 into 5, that is 3,500 pages. Okay, you can't learn at all. Okay, so you have to
Correct.
understand the concept as much as possible and then apply our own banking experience also. Because generally what happens is we at CIB level, we have at least spent around 4 to 5 years in the banking. At least that's what I'm talking. Generally, for 4 years is the period when we give the CIB. So 4 years of experience plus understanding the concepts and dreaming high and preparing high. Not only dreaming high, dreams if beggars if what does it said na? If wishes were horses, beggars would ride. So not only dreaming and wishing, we have to prepare it for the 80 to 100 marks and then we'll be able to clear it. Yeah. Yeah, ma'am.
So to conclude, these are the 5 major points that you should focus upon when you're looking forward to the examination. So
Yeah.
there, we would like to enlighten you about the courses that we are having regarding this examination. So, sir, will you be able to guide them?
Yeah, sure. One sec. Let me share the screen. Hold
No,
on.
sir. I'll just stop my sharing there.
Yeah.
Okay.
One sec. Yeah, are you able to see this now?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. See this. Firstly, go to JIB and CIB on the front page itself. On the side, if you are having the app, I would always suggest go through the app. Because in the app, you're having that coin systems and there you'll earn roughly 1% extra discount. Go to JIB and CIB. Then click on here. There are 2-3 batches available now. CIB November and CIB 23. So click on CIB 23 because November you'll go to the November batch. Right now we are focusing on this June only. So click on CIB 23. Then go to the revision power packs. Here, there are 2 types of batches available. One is revision power pack. And secondly, if you scroll down, you'll get video courses. Both the batches are available. Because what happens? Why video courses batch? Because of the bank pressures, timings, and all these targets, many a times we don't get time to attend the batch at the right time. Okay, that's why these video courses batches are available. So you can go for that also. I'll show you how to earn the discount. Let's say this revision batch. Okay. So click on this revision batch. Once you click on this, you'll see the details. All the details. What are the dates? What are the timings? What is the study plan? You can go through it at your ease. Okay. Importantly, remember ABM has just started. BFM is yet to start. ABFM is yet to start, and this BRBL is yet to start. Okay. Even the ABM which is started, you can get the recorded videos. If you join this, you can get the recorded videos and nothing to miss about it. Okay.
True.
Also, the point is the tests are available over here. So let me discuss the fees part now. See, recorded videos are available 24/7. Detailed subject-wise expertise, everything is given over here. Now let me come to the fees part. See this. Put the fees part, put the code, and the code is, yeah, ma'am, the code is PREP.
The code is PREP78.
PREP 78. Put this code PREP78. Click on apply. See this. 15,999 is 78% off you're getting, and you're getting it at 3,519. Now, this is an investment for lifetime. These guys, remember, suppose if you clear CIB, okay, when you clear CIB in 3,519, in how many months will you recover? Roughly, the increment is around 1,200. If you are at a clerical level, double increment, senior level, single increment, that is also around 1,000. So it gets recorded in hardly 4 months, and remaining everything is throughout your lifetime. It's yours. So think of it from the economical perspective also. It's a very superb deal. So you should go for this definitely in this case. And importantly, this will guide you main for clearing this exam. Because otherwise, studying it at the last minute is very difficult part. Yeah, ma'am.
Even I would agree about that. And everybody, if you are a part of our batches, I would always suggest keep a pen and a notebook with you so that you make your own notes, because you cannot substitute self-study with the teaching there. You will have to sit down and do the questions with us if you want to clear the examination. Because if I have to be very honest about this scenario, first of all, we didn't start teaching right away. Na? Somewhere down the line, there was a time when we literally sat down and did those numericals. Right now, what you see is both of us would be teaching the numerical portion. But someday, if you come and ask us how many numericals we would have done, it would be in lakhs.
Yeah, that's right.
Not only in thousands at this point of time, because both of us had been teaching from quite a long time. The
Yeah.
numericals that you see that we do, it's very easily. That's because we have practiced it a lot. Now,
1,000
the
times.
point
Yeah.
is, till the time you don't practice, how will you gain the confidence? Because
Correct.
you see it being done easily because we make it easy for you. But till the time you don't make it easy in your head too, till that time you won't be able to do it in the examination.
Correct.
Right?
Very right. Very right. Just to conclude this, what not to do in CIB exam. So what not to do? Don't follow whatever is told in this session. So there you'll definitely not clear the exam. That is the point. But I won't suggest what not to do. I would always suggest on the positive things. Focus on what to do. For example, just to conclude, focus on the classes, the video courses, focus on the tests, whatever have been given to you, focus on the PDFs. Okay. And those who are not in the class and watching this, okay, there might be many who are not in the class, paid class, but watching this. Do your own self-study as much as possible, so that, and give at least 1 to 2 hours per day now, from now, at least 2 hours per day from now for clearing it. And if you have not joined as of yet, join the revision batches at least. So revision batches of video courses, and there are fair chances of yours clearing it. So these are the key takeaways what I feel from this session. Yeah, ma'am.
Even I would agree upon that, but I would just like to add one more thing, that if you're looking forward towards your personal self study, that you are not studying under anybody, you're just studying on your own, then the number of hours that you are putting has to be more than 2 in any case, right? Because the syllabus is very, very vast. Here at Adda, we are completely following the books, and trust us, when we look forward towards preparation of the notes, now it takes a hell lot of effort because the book is very extensive this year. And if you are studying on your own, please do not follow anything else other than the IBF book. In Adda, we are following strictly the IBF book. Everything is prepared from that. That means if you are studying along with us, then the crux of is with you in our classes itself. So what you can do is to add on to your practice, just make your quick notes for your preparation.